Why do you feel breakups are so hard to overcome? Because honestly, I feel like it has a lot to do with possessiveness, and fear. We don't do it on purpose, but psychologically, we feel like some of us can. I feel like I say for me, I felt like I owned them. You know what I mean? Like you're mine. You're like, you know what I'm saying? So when a person who has a mind of their own decides that they're going to do something that you don't necessarily agree with, or the fact that you just they just don't want to be with you anymore, it's you think, oh no, you got to stay right here and deal with my shit because I want to be with you, but you don't control that other person. So it's hard to overcome the fact. I mean, some of us tend to blame ourselves. I mean, we've been doing that shit since we were kids, you know what I'm saying? Where we tend to blame ourselves for everything that happens around us. So, I mean, breakups are the tough. You know what I'm saying? Depending, and especially depending on how much you love yourself. I feel that's really like the root and the root thing of it all. Like, if you truly love yourself, it tends to be a little bit easier to. I feel like it would be easier. Again, this is my perspective. I feel like it would be easier to get over somebody. You know what I mean? Because if you put all your worth and your validation and your identity in this person, and then you lose them, then you feel like a piece of you is gone. You know what I mean? And it's unfair to that person that they're responsible for your identity. Now, the only responsibility that you got is your half of the bargain, your half of the relationship, as far as what you put into it. And but a lot of us tend to try to do both sides for like to control the other from doing some shit we don't like. You know what I mean? And myself, I've done it multiple times out of fear of intimacy that I suffer from. You know what I'm saying? Fear of abandonment and all that stuff. So it's like, no, I'm gonna make sure, like, hold up, she was doing some weird shit. I'm gonna watch her, wake up in the middle of the night, catch her on her phone doing some shit, whatever. And it's just like at that point, you're not even in a relationship anymore. You're in some kind of, I want to say, torture. You're in mental torture at that point when you just think that you go watch somebody on what they're doing with their phone. You know what I mean? And or just thinking that you're gonna stop them from fucking around on you, because whatever a person want to do, they're gonna do that shit. Like you watching them, making sure they don't do shit. What does that say? And I think, we just get caught up with possession, you know what I'm saying? You try to control shit, but you're not able to control anybody and what they want to do. But it's really about how much you put into something. And like a lot of some people have dealt with people where they weren't even with that person. Like that person was pretending the whole fucking time. And I've done that myself, you know what I'm saying? I pretended to be somebody, this idea in order to obtain this particular person, or you know what I mean, to get this girl. And eventually you gotta be yourself. And it doesn't always go pretty, you know what I mean? And like breakups, they bring about a lot of different feelings. And you know what I'm saying, like when you feel like you've been with somebody for so long and you realize you weren't even with them, they were with a character or this person they were pretending to be, or this idea of who you thought they were, you know what I mean, it can be draining, and you can be, you can get skewed. Your view of like different relationships can get skewed, you know what I'm saying? But I feel that breakups are lessons. And the Stoics talk about like whenever you lose something, you haven't really lost it, you're returning it because you never had it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we don't own anything, we don't own anybody. Anything that we have, or even as far as our children, or even our parents and stuff like that, we don't own them, and they don't really own us. You know what I'm saying? We're our own beings, and it's like if we were to lose them, they're being returned. You know what I'm saying? That's why we need to value the time that we spend with people. But we tend to take things for granted. We feel like we got things forever. You know, it's like, it's not comparing people to toys, but you know, Christmas time is like that one Christmas where you got the toy that you've been just yearning to get. You know, you had that temptation, it's all you wanted. Then you finally get the toy. Months go by, some months go by, maybe even weeks, and you don't even play with that motherfucker no more. You know what I'm saying? But the second another child will come over the house and try to play with your toy, you will be upset. Or if you realize you couldn't find the toy, somehow you got lost and you lost your toy. You're freaking out, like, hey, where is it? You know what I'm saying? It's like, you almost like you don't miss it until it's gone. But we tend to take things for granted. People in general, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing more valuable than your attention and your time. Time and attention are the most valuable. I feel like that's the most valuable currencies that we have as humans, as far as like who we give our time to and the attention that we give and all that stuff. So it's very interesting. I'll say that. Getting back to the breakups, you have to find a way to push through. You have to look at yourself, self-assess, and realize why this happened for you, why the universe, why God, made it so that this was the action of things. Stop thinking about why this shit happened to you and why it happened for you. You know what I mean? Like, it may not make sense at the time, but after a while you look back and like, oh, okay, that's why that relationship didn't work and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, the answers were always there. The red flags, all those things as to why this thing didn't work out. A lot of the times, there's things about ourselves that we have to work on. You know what I'm saying? For us to have a better life, we got to become better people. So breakups are hard because people are complicated. Well, people complicate shit. That's really what it is. Ourselves included. We assume, we take things personal, and you know what I'm saying, we're foul with our words. We put ego involved. So a lot of those things, we just act like people owe us shit, and no one owes you a fucking thing. Not one fucking thing no one owes you. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta take accountability for our actions. But when you love somebody, or you feel like it's love, for that matter, you know what I mean? You feel like it's love. You have this feeling like, I don't know, maybe I feel like a piece of you is missing or something like that. But you've been whole the whole time. You're not incomplete. You're not broken. Yes, you're gonna go through some mental struggles. You're gonna go through some pain, but it's all to make you better. Everything is happening for you. So, yeah, that's my thought on breakups. When is the right time to say you're dissatisfied of the sex with somebody? Immediately, really. You want to tell that individual exactly what you're dissatisfied with, but you don't want to be an ass about it. Like, oh, you ain't doing this shit right. You know what I mean? I can't come like this. And that shit. But like, you want to be able to say, hey, this particular thing could probably be better if we do it this way. How about we try that? So I really like it if you did this. 5 love languages talks about that. That's the best way to kind of like ask somebody or tell somebody that you would like them to do something. Like, oh, it would be really nice if if you lick the balls this way, or if you it'd be really nice if you lick, if you suck my clit like this and versus this, shit like that, instead of saying, you're horrible at eating pussy, or damn, you horrible at sucking dick, or or fucking riding me, or any of them shits, like whatever aspect of sex that is not being performed to your likability, it's something for you to just kind of think about, and as far as what you want to say to somebody, and you know what I'm saying, like you should be open. You shouldn't have any ego. You should be able to say what the fuck you want to say, as far as how you feel about something, and then you know what I mean, go from there. I mean, it's really just sex, and a lot of people can take it personal when somebody asks them to like do a certain thing or whatever. But it's all about experience and shit too. Like if it's not working, especially married people, like married people that end up marrying someone who is not the most sex savvy individual, you know what I'm saying? Like trying to coach them, that's gotta be the worst shit ever, by the way. Trying to coach somebody into fucking or sucking or eating, whatever your vice is, you know what I'm saying? But I think that's something that should be discussed. I think you should be able to be to talk very freely to each other. At least that's what I want to go for. I want to be able to talk very open with whoever I'm involved with, like that. In the sexual nature. You know what I'm saying? You should be able to discuss exactly what the fuck you're for and what you're not for. And if it ain't for you, then that's it. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? The objective is to kind of get what you want, because that's what you're gonna have to live with. Especially like, let's just say you get married. Forever's a long fucking time, man. So if you are to get married, again, marriage isn't all about sex, but it's part of it. I'll tell you that shit. You know what I'm saying? At least for you younger motherfuckers. I don't know about the 70-year-old. No, if you're still fucking. Are you fucking? If you're 70 years old and you're watching this video, comment under, are you fucking? Is the question. We need to know, are you fucking? I don't think we want to know if you're fucking, but we want to know if you're fucking, So, well, it's all about communication, right? And attention to the woman's body, attention to the man's body, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be in tune with somebody. You have to engage with them, be compassionate listening. It works not just in talking to somebody, but even from a sexual nature. Are you listening to your mate's, with the way she moves, the way he moves, and all that shit? Are you paying the fuck attention? Are you being a selfish lover? Are you only concerned with getting your motherfucking nut, or are you more engaged with the act itself? Like, is it passionate? Is it, you know what I'm saying? Is it erotic? Is it, you know what I mean? Like, are y'all into each other? You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta get lost in a motherfucker and tear that ass up, for sure. But dissatisfaction with sex. We need to talk about this shit. We need to find the courage, whatever it is, remove all ego, remove all fear and doubt, and have that conversation with your mate or whoever about something that is dissatisfying to you. There's no room for that type of ego. So be able to have that conversation and be open to try, you know what I'm saying, to improve yourself. You got to be in a constant state of learning. That's easier said than done, but I feel like that's something we got to work on. How has trauma affected your view of your relationships? Well, it's kind of like when you invest your time and your effort and like the love that you feel that you have, and when you don't love yourself, you'll do everything you can to kind of validate the fact that you do love somebody else. And when that doesn't go as you intended it to do, or you learn that people tend to use you, be it family, be it you know what I'm saying, like women you've been involved with, be it so-called friends and all this other shit, you know what I'm saying? It just makes you wonder about, not so much about them, but more about you and your judgment of character, you know what I'm saying? So if you've been prone to like have toxic relationships, family, type of people you've been around growing up, friends and shit, it makes you wonder if the people around you if you're somehow attracting the same shit. You know what I'm saying? As far as it goes back to the whole thing, as far as what's best for you versus what's familiar to you. And there are people that come into your life, man, that really want to try to care for you, and it can be quite scary for many different reasons. Because it's like you felt this shit before, and you went in blindly. You know what I'm saying? No boundaries, no nothing. It's like, hey, love me. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna just fall into you and shit like that. Only for that individual to just drain you. You know what I'm saying? For their own ego and their own validation. You know what I'm saying? Like to say that, hey, I got you. And I've been on both sides of this shit. I've been used for a person's validation. I've used women for validation. You know what I'm saying? And it's just hurt people. So for me, I'm looking at relationships and the people that I tend to bring into my life, right? I would say, on a relationship, like an intimate relationship, where if I was really, really into them, that anxious feeling and shit like that, it's usually not a good thing. And I say some, but like I happen to agree with the philosophy that the person that comes into your life that is like that's necessary for you, and I don't believe in a one and only by any means. I think it's foolish to believe that there's only one person. That's just my perspective. That there's only one person for you. You know what I'm saying? But that person that comes into your life that makes you calm. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not. You don't feel like that anxious, like, oh shit, I'm fucking nervous, anxiety, and all that other shit. You know what I'm saying? When you around this person on a long term scheme of things. Now, as far as like if you like myself coming out of shit, you've been on autopilot and you've been people pleasing for the longest. You know what I'm saying? And then you finally get around some people, and they try to do you right, and then you just end up getting like your nerves is fucking bad, and you kind of, I don't know, can be standoffish or whatever because you're trying to assess the situation. I feel like that's natural as you're healing. You know what I mean? Healing is a process. But like I said, if you've been around somebody and they've shown you for 3 fucking years, you know what I'm saying, they've been involved with you, and you still doing that, oh no, I don't know about this shit. Then there's there's definitely some more work that needs to be done on your part. And again, it goes back to, it's about taking accountability and you know what I mean? Like, what are you doing to make the situation better? How are you becoming a better person? Are you working on yourself? And that's really what it boils down to. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to find yourself in a position to where you're working on yourself. And it took me a while to get to it, but I would rush head first into any woman that I felt like, would, take all this love that I had, and then it would either be taken for granted or it would just be a turnoff for them. You know what I'm saying? Because I was trying to fill a void of this type of love that I feel like I didn't get growing up. You know what I mean? And when you do that, you have to remember, men, that a woman does not want to be with a boy. And boys look for their mother, right? A woman wants to be with a man. And same for women, you know what I'm saying? A man wants to be with a woman, not with a little girl. So if you're out there with your daddy issues or mommy issues, we're all out here trying. We don't even realize until we engage with each other to see how immature and how emotionally immature we are. So you have to remember to love yourself. That's what's really important. because nobody's coming to save you. Yeah, you're not able to count on your parents at this age. You know what I'm saying? If you're 35 and up, like me, or just say 30 and up, even 25 up, whatever. You have to reparent yourself, and it ain't easy. And being a parent, you don't always do the right things. You know what I'm saying? So you have to forgive your parents for what you feel like they could have done. They did the best they could with the knowledge that they had. You know what I mean? And if you feel like you would have done things differently, it's because you have a different set of knowledge that they didn't have. You know what I mean? But it gets frustrating at times. And when you've just been prone to again, toxic relationships and like treating people a certain way, be it from your narcissism, be it from your selfishness, be it from your people pleasing, be it from being codependent, all of these things, you know what I'm saying, is just it kind of puts you in a position where, yeah, you're in a toxic situation. Either you're taking advantage of someone or they're taking advantage of you. So that's the real part of like the trauma in my relationships. It's like, am I being taken advantage of? And then it's like, well, am I taking advantage of them? And it's in trying to find that balance where learning what is healthy and like reading up on what healthy relationships come from. And I've learned that it all comes with communication and being able to speak compassionately with people and just be able to talk freely about what the fuck you really want and who you really are, and trying to not be like if you had to be a character to survive, trying to not be that character anymore. Like you want to be who you are and have a person accept you for that, and have the courage to, let people decide if they don't want to be with that character, be with you. You know what I'm saying? And that's okay, because there's enough people out here. If you look at it from a space view, there's so many people in the world. So if you don't, if you've been talking with somebody and you learn that you don't like something about them, it's all right if you don't. Like, it doesn't make any sense for you to be with somebody just for the simple fact that it might hurt their feelings. Like I did. I spent years with a woman that I had, no intentions of ever being with her in a relationship. One, I didn't know how to love myself. Literally, I didn't know how to love myself. And then I didn't know how to love, period. So it was a struggle. It was selfish for me in a lot of ways. And it was toxic. The whole situation was toxic. And I own my part in that. But it's just coming from where you come from, trying to survive. Survive. When you're raised on survival versus raised on love, things move a little bit differently. And trying to learn how to incorporate healthier, relationship practices, like and by relationships, I mean in totality, from a work standpoint, from a friendship standpoint, from like intimacy. If you decide to get into a relationship, but first having a relationship with yourself, that's what's important. And it's something that I had to kind of incorporate. And I think I'm doing all right for now. Like learning to set boundaries. Like you don't have to really talk. You don't have to talk about anything if you don't feel like it. You don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. I think a lot of people want us to be their puppet and think that we gonna move when they say the fuck we gonna move, and that ain't how this shit gonna work. You gotta let them know that, and they can take it. They can take offense to it, but that's more about how they feel about themselves. That has nothing to do with you. You know what I mean? So you just do what's best for your mental health. I encourage that, and continue to work on you daily. You know what I'm saying? Learn how to communicate better. That's one of the biggest skills to ever have, is learning how to fucking communicate. And we do that a little bit more, maybe our relationships will get a little bit better. So, trauma, and in short, has fucked up my view of relationships. But I'm doing the fucking work to make sure that it gets better. So here's to being healthier.